Hi, everybody. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm Layperson Lisa.
Welcome to the Deacon Dave and Layperson Lisa show, Day 28, S&P, and everybody else.
That's right.
That might be listening
Right.
to this marvelous podcast.
We are changing it up and heading into part 4 of the Catechism.
Ooh, the Catechism, which will be part of the assignment for the S&P folks to read during this month that they will be doing this, correct?
Yes, because part 4 is all about Christian prayer.
Right. So let's dive into this, Lisa. How about paragraph 2560?
Yes, so we've been talking about this throughout the series, but Christ comes to meet every human being. It is he who first seeks us and asks us for a drink. And prayer is the encounter of God's thirst with ours. God thirsts that we might thirst for him.
Yeah, so God is the first mover of everything, right? Even our desire to prayer first comes from him.
Yes.
And
It's like
then,
that restlessness, like that St. Augustine refers to.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, God is like the first mover of all things.
Oh, yeah. But like our response is like that restlessness.
Absolutely.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I
And
meant.
then, of course, this has got the overtones of the woman at the well.
Yes.
And also of Mother Teresa.
Yes.
And if you haven't read Mother Teresa's letter, I Thirst, it is a must read. You can Google it. Just say Mother Teresa, I Thirst, and then pray over that.
Yes, because it's a revelation that Jesus gave those words to Mother Teresa, and she wrote them down for her sisters.
Right, and I'm reading a book right now for Mother Teresa on hope, and I'm at the point where she got her direct words during prayer from God that she was supposed to leave the convent and go out and be with the poorest of the poor in India.
Yes.
And so right now in the book she's trying to talk to the bishop and to get permission to do that. So stay tuned for what's going to happen with that.
Yes.
Because I don't know yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
that's part of my prayer time in the morning.
Yes.
And I actually texted you something this morning.
Yes, you said that God doesn't care if we succeed, he just cares if we try. So that's why it's so important when we feel these nudges of the Holy Spirit to say yes. And if we are successful in what he's calling us to do, then great. If not, that's okay too, because at least we said yes and we did his will. And sometimes things take practice, sometimes things it's part of our journey, and we shouldn't let our performance stop us from saying yes.
Yeah, and I think saying yes to prayer and like that ongoing journey that we've both been on to have a deeper more intentional prayer life has been really fruitful. But there's been a lot of trying, right?
Yeah.
But as we continue to try, there's more success.
Right.
So Catechism 2561 says, prayer is the response of faith to the free promise of salvation and a response of love to the thirst of the only Son of God. So, our prayer is a response, right? A faithful response to he who thirsts for us. And then what about Catechism 2562, Lisa?
It is the heart that prays.
So
it's all because it's like about we know of God, but to know him in our heart, that's where we develop the intimacy, that's where we develop a deeper relationship with him. So that's why it's so important to have like a head and a heart connection, so that we know God, but we also know who he is in our life.
Yeah, I like that. The head-heart connection. So often we're up in our head and many things don't make it to the heart. And so that's just not going to be as fruitful, right, if those two things aren't together. And then Catechism 2563 says, the heart is the dwelling place where I am. This is God talking, I would imagine, where I live, to which I withdraw. Only God can fathom the human heart and know it fully. It is a place of decisions, encounter, and covenant. So how often do we try to make decisions outside of the heart, outside of prayer? Or maybe they're decisions of the heart, but we haven't included God by actually praying for it.
Yes. And that's one thing that we are encouraged to do, is every decision that we make, bring God into that decision. And in that way, we are constantly bringing him into everything that's happening in our lives, and it's a way to pray unceasingly.
Yeah, and so I like this encounter. So if we're praying and we're not having an encounter with God, then we're missing something. And I asked people this in a homily I did a couple of weeks ago. I said, how many of you are encountering God or hearing God's voice when you pray? Nobody raised their hand. So that right there, right, is a sign of a prayer life that needs more intentionality, more work, more time, more silence, so that because we should be hearing the voice of God,
Right.
right, in the depth of our heart and our soul.
Right.
And I like this idea of covenant, right, because covenants should not be broken.
Right.
And,
They're
and
promises.
yeah, so these promises that are made between us and God can be very powerful in our prayer life. Any final thoughts from you, Lisa?
Well, I just think that one of the challenges that people face, like maybe the people who were listening to your homily, is that, okay, so as children, we're like taught certain prayers, but we're not necessarily taught about a relationship with God or telling God about our day or going to him like a parent. And so I think that is kind of maybe a disconnect for some people. So this may help people realize that it's about a relationship with God and not just a bunch reading out of a prayer book.
Yeah, if you're just talking to someone, well, then that's not relational and that's not prayer. I'm Deacon Dave.
I'm layperson Lisa.
See you next time.
Bye.